Welcome to some little walking drills. Now, believe it or not, there's a right way and a wrong way to walk. I'm not here to teach you about that. I'm not a physio, but I just thought I'd give you some nice little tips on the nice way to activate these hip flexors when you're walking. We're gonna do some stretching afterwards, but this is just a fun little tip I thought you might enjoy. So if you find yourselves, your hip flexor, your hips get very tight when you walk, what that can be from is that the hip flexors aren't activating properly when we're walking. So the really quick fix to that you can incorporate in your own walks if you're out and about. All we're gonna do is we're gonna walk across the room, but I'd like you to keep the heel on the floor for as long as possible. You'll already feel that stretch in the hip flexor as you walk. And what we're doing here is we're loading and stretching, which is really the best way to lengthen and strengthen a muscle. So we're going to do this about 4 or 5 times, so you can start doing it yourself now. Keep the heel, the back heel on the floor for as long as possible. You can put your hands on your hip flexors. If you don't know where your hip flexors are, it's the fleshy piece of sort of oblong muscle just below the hip bones. We're going to do 2 more lengths of this. And what you'll start to feel is they're really getting loaded there. When loaded just means you can sort of feel them working, there's a bit of resistance, and that stretch you're getting by leaving the heel on the floor is just going to encourage them to fire up. Let's do one last set here. Now, like I said, this is just a top little tip from me. I'm going to see you all walking around parks like this. I encourage it. Maybe you want to try doing maybe 10 steps like that, and then going back into your normal walking. Now, the next bit I want to talk about is when walking, try not to be walking flat-footed like so, yeah? We're really trying to walk through the heel. So you go heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, like so, okay? I'm sure all of you know that, but do try out that little hip flexor drill I just showed you. And now we're just gonna have a little stretch. So if you go out walking a lot, really important to stretch afterwards, guys. Your body will really thank you for that. I'm just gonna grab a quick chair. So we've got a chair to work with for these stretches. Now, nice and simple, what's going to happen is we are going to just put our heel up onto the chair like so. Very easy, really easy. Now, point the toes up to the sky, and we're just gently going to fold over that leg. So whether you want to hold onto the knee, the shin, the chair, or the toes, I really don't mind. As long as the back of that leg is getting a nice stretch and we're feeling that in the knee crease, okay? That's it. Lovely. So point those toes back towards the face. Really stretching over there. Good. You may find as you relax, you can just go a little bit deeper on that leg. 5 more seconds on this side. Good. 3, 2, 1. Rolling up slowly. Very nice, guys. Let's do the other side. I feel it right the way up into my bottom, into the glute. Point the toes up to the ceiling, and we're just gently folding over here. That should feel really nice relaxation. Lots of people hate getting their hamstring stretched, but I think it's a really important muscle to keep nice and long and strong, especially if we're walking a lot, okay? Remember, you can hold onto the knee there or the shin. Try not to put any pressure onto the kneecap. Knees don't really like that kind of pressure. You can grab the foot, it's totally up to you. Very nice, good. Another key component of our walking is a hip flexors, like we just talked about. So we can keep those nice and loose. There's a couple of ways to do that, but probably my favorite would be just gently, just to stretch the quad to start. So squeeze the knees together. You can hold onto the chair if you need to, stretching out those quads. That's it. And we'll try the other side. So if you need to hold that chair, you can totally do that. We'll do the other side. Squeeze those knees, exactly. Excellent, good. And then second of all, so once the quads are nice and loose, we're gonna drop down onto one knee, like so. Squeeze that bottom, tuck the tailbone under, and you'll feel a lovely big stretch in that hip. That's exactly what we want for those hip flexors. Lovely. Good, nice. And then you can drop onto the other knee. Again, we squeeze the bottom as hard as we can, and what you'll feel is that this hip flexor really opens and extends. That's what we're after. Good. And then we're going to come back up. The last little stretch we're going to do for our walking today, nice and simple. You're going to flip your chair around, You're going to put your foot onto the chair, and then you're going to let the knee flop out to the side like so. So I'll show you that from the front. So what's going to happen? You put your foot up on the chair, let the knee flop out to the side like so, and then we're trying to get our head as close to the foot as possible. I'll show you that from the side so you can see that. Foot on the chair, flop the knee out to the side, and try and get the head close to that foot. It's best if you can get a right angle in the knee that's on the chair, and we'll just hang out. If you find this easy, you can bend the supporting leg, try and get the head nice and close to that big toe. Good. 10 more seconds on this side. You should really feel a nice release in this hip. That's it. The studio crew are all looking at me like I'm a lunatic with my foot on the chair. Here we go. Let's swap sides on this one. So I put that foot up on the chair, let it flop out to the side, and then try and get my head down close to that big toe. That's it. Nice bent knee, supporting knee, heavy head. Let it relax. Last 20 seconds on this side. That's it. Lovely. Good. Through last 10 seconds, just relaxing down. Support that, bend that supporting knee if you need to. In 3, in 2, in 1. So, if you are walking a lot, try out that lovely drill I showed you where you keep that heel on the floor, and then definitely have a go at some of these stretches. That was just a nice little post-walk stretch.